Y'all know who I'm about to talk about. Okay? This individual is all over the news. He had a meeting with 800 of our most highest ranking officers in the military, admirals and generals. He's the most least qualified individual to hold the role that he holds right now, which is Secretary of Defense, appointed by Donald Trump. And I'm going to always call him Secretary of Defense. I'm never going to call him the Secretary of War. Okay? Because Pete Hegseth has never, as Secretary of Defense, fought a war for the United States and won a war. So I'm going to give him the title of Secretary of Defense. Okay? And that individual is, you looking at him, it is Pete the Skeet Hegseth. Okay. This dude is the most least qualified, most incompetent individual to ever hold the position of the Secretary of Defense. It's embarrassing that he has this position. I don't know how many of you actually saw his entire speech. I watched it, and I couldn't stop laughing. Everything that came out that man's mouth was stupid as hell. When I first looked at the speech, I saw highlights, excerpts of the speech. I was like, okay. So when I do a video on this guy, I'm just going to listen to the whole speech. I'm going to grab the little excerpts of when he's saying something ridiculous, and I'll put that in my video. Shockingly, everything that came out of his mouth was absolutely ridiculous. It was inappropriate. He was out of touch to be the Secretary of Defense. He was talking to men whose rank over him has 6 ranks over him. Because he was talking to generals. And a lot of them have like 6 ranks over Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth is a major. And I think he got that rank serving in his local National Guard. He served in the National Guard. But before that, he was deployed in Afghanistan for a minute. Then he went to Iraq. Then after Iraq, he went to Guantanamo Bay. And he was stationed in Guantanamo Bay, watching over the prisoners of war that they were shipping to Guantanamo Bay from places like Afghanistan and Iraq. Which, just hearing his qualifications, you know he is nowhere near as qualified to be running the Defense Department. Plus the organizations that he ran, I can't think of them right offhand. He ran those into the ground. They went bankrupt. Okay, little smaller military organizations and institutions that he was allowed to run, he ran them into the ground. They went bankrupt. So this is the guy who is in charge of our military. And like I said, I don't know if you heard his speech. Everything that was coming out of his mouth was stupid as hell. I'm going to let you hear as much of it as I can, piece by piece, and then I'm going to weigh in on it and just reiterate just how stupid it sounds and how ridiculous and embarrassing he looked, talking to our nation's most highest ranking military officials. So let's listen to this speech right now. We're going to start from the beginning. I'm going to grab one of the many, many stupid things that came out of this guy's mouth and let you hear it right now. Let's go to it.
Secretary Pete Hegseth asking all U.S. general officers and admirals around the world to gather at the U.S. Marine Base in Quantico, Virginia.
A meeting of this size in person and on such short notice is extremely rare.
It's going to also potentially be a security risk given the sheer number of military officials and how many are going to be gathered in one place at a time.
For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons. Based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts. We've pretended that combat arms and non-combat arms are the same thing. We've weeded out so-called toxic leaders under the guise of double-blind psychology assessments, promoting risk-averse, go-along-to-get-along conformists instead. You name it, the department did it. Foolish and reckless political leaders set the wrong compass heading. And we lost.
Now, y'all just heard what came out that fool's mouth. He just basically said that anybody that's black, anybody that's a woman, or anybody that's gay only is in the positions that they are in because quotas had to be filled, that they're not qualified. This is what Pete Hegseth is saying to those individuals who are sitting in that room. If you're black, you're only here because we had to fill a quota. If you're a female, you're only here because we had to fill a quota. If you're gay, you're only here because we had to fill a quota. When everybody in that room outranked Pete Hegseth by at least 5 ranks or more. And these individuals have Purple Hearts, Silver Stars, the Bronze Stars for bravery, in battle, eclipsing anything that Pete Hegseth has ever done in the military. Now, he is a major. I thank him for his service, but he is totally unqualified. This is the same dude who was a Fox News host before he became Secretary of Defense. This was the same dude accused of rape. This was the same dude who his own mother told him that he was a terrible person. Let's not forget, this is the same dude who just recently leaked classified information over an unsafe form of communication and chimed in. A member of the media unknowingly did this. That's how we know about it. He sent it to a member of the media, and he published it. Look what Pete the Skeet Hegseth just sent me. This is how he's starting off talking to these people. These high-ranking individuals who've devoted their lives to the military. Talking to them like they're privates. It gets better. I'm telling you, it gets better. Let's listen to some more. Let's listen to some more, y'all.
The urgent moment, of course, requires more troops, more munitions, more drones, more Patriots, more submarines, more B-21 bombers. It requires more innovation, more AI in everything and ahead of the curve. More cyber effects, more counter-UAS, more space, more speed. America is the strongest, but we need to get stronger and quickly. The time is now, and the cause is urgent. The moment requires restoring and refocusing our defense industrial base, our shipbuilding industry, and onshoring all critical components. It requires, as President Trump has done, getting our allies and partners to step up and share the burden. America cannot do everything.
What the? What the fuck is... Excuse my language, y'all. What in the hell is this fool talking about? President Trump got the rest of the nations to step up and share the burden? What burden? The burden of rebuilding our military? The burden of helping us fight wars? Because he said America can't do everything. What is he talking about? The United Nations? I'm confused when he said that dumb part. But the beginning of what he said was absolutely retarded. When we say we need more planks, more tanks, more planes, we need to become more innovative and creative. What the hell is Pete Hegseth talking about? America is the most powerful military on the planet because that's all we do. I don't know whether Pete Hegseth know it or not, but these are the planes that we were flying in World War II. Okay? This is what we was flying in World War II, Pete Hegseth. So I don't know whether you know this or not. And this is what we're flying now. We have stealth bombers here. Then we have this new plane called the NGAD. Okay? This plane shoots laser instead of bullets. This program to build this plane was announced under President Trump in 2025, but started under 2014 under Barack Obama. And Trump only announced it because Boeing was the ones finally selected for the contract to build the NGAD. Now, NGAD stands for Next Generation Air Dominance Program. This program was started under Barack Obama, under DARPA's Air Dominance Initiative Study. So Barack was the one who put this study in effect. Boeing has won the contract, and now we have the NGAD being built by Boeing. And I think it's going to cost $20 billion a plane. So what the hell in God's name is Pete Hegseth talking about when he talks about innovation? We are the most innovative, creative military combine on the planet. That's one reason why nations quake in their boots when they think about a war with the United States. We'll whoop China, Russia, we could leave nukes out of it. And we'd tear their behinds up. So I don't know what Pete Hegseth is talking about. And as far as our boots on the ground, blacks, Hispanics, whites, Orientals, Americans, transgender people, gays, Americans make up that military. Anybody who volunteers for the military, because the military don't pay a lot of money, is sacrificing a lot. It is a sacrifice to join the military to want to defend your country. But look, like I said, he says plenty of dumb stuff. Let's move on to the next dumb thing. We can't linger because he just doesn't. He's like the dumb gift that just keeps on giving. Let's go to the next thing, y'all.
The War Department is tackling and prioritizing all of these things. And I'll be giving a speech next month that'll showcase the speed, innovation, and generational acquisition reforms we are undertaking urgently. Likewise, the nature of the threats we face in our hemisphere and in deterring China is another speech for another day.
First of all, why would you be out there bucket mouthing all this stuff about what you're going to do with your military to deter other countries? You shouldn't have never had this meeting public. Even though the stuff that you talked about showed just how unprepared you are for the position that you're in, how unqualified you are. I'm kind of glad you did have it in public because you made yourself look like an idiot in front of the whole entire world. It's only a matter of time before he winds up on Russian TV or Chinese national TV. You know, these communist nations, networks are owned by the government, and they're making fun of Pete Hegseth. They're laughing at America on their TV, government-owned TV networks, like they did Trump's wife. Show pictures of that woman nude on Russia state television and laughed at her. Ha 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 ha. Look at that, the first lady. So it's only a matter of time for Pete Hegseth to be on there. And I hope his dumb behind don't make this next meeting public. Hope he don't do nothing that stupid. Told y'all a lot of dumb stuff comes out of this man's mouth. Let's move on to the next thing.
In combat, there are thousands of variables, as I learned in Iraq and Afghanistan, and as so many of you did in so many more places. Leaders can only control about 3 of them. You control how well you're trained, mostly how well you're equipped, and the last variable is how well you lead. After that, you're on your own. Our warfighters are entitled to be led by the best and most capable leaders. That is who we need you all to be. Even then, in combat, even if you do everything right, you may still lose people because the enemy always gets a vote. We have a sacred duty to ensure that our warriors are led by the most capable and qualified combat leaders. This is one thing you and I can control. And we owe it to the force to deliver it.
Did y'all just hear what that dum-dum said? He talking to them like he's a major, talking to generals and admirals like he's on their level. Combat got thousands of variables. I learned this in Iraq and Afghanistan, as you guys learned in so many other places. Stop trying to talk to them like you on their level. Them 3 variables he gave. Oh my God. Basic Officer Class 101. Pete the Skeet Hegseth is making an idiot out of himself. And I know you guys seen the faces. I should have added some of those pictures, but I don't want to make this video too long. I should have added some of those pictures of the generals and admirals' faces while he was saying this stupid, corny, ridiculous shit to them. Pete Hegseth is nowhere on their level. Period. These individuals have fought wars against nations, commanded wars against nations, toppled governments, changed regimes. Pete Hegseth can only dream of doing something like that. And if he was to do it, he'd probably fuck it up. Let's not forget this, the same damn guy who sent out top secret information over an unsecure form of communication, and then the dum-dum chimed in, a member of the media. That's how come we know about it. Like I said before, the individual in the media said, oh, I got to report this. This is how big a screw up. He's telling these people, oh, we want you to be the best and the brightest and this and that. And let's be for real. Pete Hegseth should have been fired for what he did. Fired. When he made that blunder, he should have been effing fired. Man, this dude is an absolute knucklehead, moron. But he can't help it. He's a monkey out of his tree. He's a fish out of water. He is out of his element. And he's talking to people who have far more superior knowledge when it comes to what the military's goals are, what they're trying to achieve, what their advancements are. This dude was a Fox News host. He was on Fox News when Trump picked him. He has a minuscule freaking record compared to the individuals who he's talking to, like they're privates. It's absolutely ridiculous. Disgusting. But, like I said, Pete the Skeet Hegseth, is the fool, the dum-dum, the inexperienced knucklehead who keeps on giving. I'm probably going to play one more clip of his stupid antics, humiliating himself in front of the whole world and humiliating himself in front of these generals. And you know what's so crazy about this too? I'm going to add this before I... No, matter of fact, I'm going to add it after this. Let's just play one more of his dumb statements, and then I'll say what I got to say. Let's bring it.
Not go another day without directly addressing the plank in our own eye, without addressing the problems in our own commands and in our own formations. This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that shit.
Now, what you just heard that knucklehead say right there, none of that was happening in our military. The military commanders and the atmosphere and the character of the military is to be non-political. Now, do we have people in the military that vote? Yes. Do they vote Democrat or Republican? Yes. But the atmosphere and the character of the military is not political. The military does not serve the president. The military serves the Constitution of the United States and have the right to reject any order that the president gives them that they deem in violation of the Constitution. So it wasn't none of that bull crap happening in the military. That was some made up, fluffed up, champion stuff, bull crap that Pete Hegseth thought it would sound impressive to say to the president of the United States, because he was really performing for one person right there. He wasn't really addressing the generals. He was performing for Trump. Period. But let me say this. We got one more here I'm going to play. And then I'm going to give my final analysis on this. This shit here is just woo. Whoa.
These tests, they'll look familiar. They'll resemble the Army Expert Physical Fitness Assessment or the Marine Corps Combat Fitness Test. I'm also directing that warfighters in combat jobs execute their service fitness test at a gender-neutral, age-normed male standard scored above 70%. It all starts with physical fitness and appearance. If the Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT, so can every member of our joint force. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And as the chairman said yesterday,
he gonna make admirals get in shape. This motherfucker is crazy. First of all, Pete the Skeet, you talking about fat admirals. Now, you know good and well there is no fat troops. There is no soldiers out there that's fat. Now, if you want to see a branch of any type of military or law enforcement that is fat, look at ISIS. ISIS got a bunch of fat, donut-eating individuals. You know they ain't been through no physical training, nothing. And that's for a future video I'm going to do. And I'm going to show you just how fat, three-chin individuals out there making all this money. But he's talking about fat generals, fat soldiers in formation, which does not exist, when we got a fat president. Our president is freaking fat. And after you said there's fat admirals, fat generals, and fat soldiers in formation, you brought on stage a fat president. And you talking about you could do PT. I'm willing to guarantee you that if you went to a women's barracks, that any of those women coming out of basic training will whoop Pete Hegseth behind. What is this dude talking? The stuff that's coming out of his mouth is so stupid, it doesn't make any sense. And let's not forget, because I'm going to sum it up right here. Let's not forget, it cost us millions of dollars to bring all of these generals, 800 high-ranking military officials. We had the Joint Chiefs was there. They hear a speech that he could have put in an email, and they could have laughed at it in the privacy of their own office. A lot of these generals was in hostile regions where military combat was taking place. And they was removed from those places and then put all in one building. All it took was for a foreign adversary to attack that building, and we could have lost all of the top brass and the Joint Chiefs in one swipe. So you know, in order to protect them, it cost the American taxpayer not just millions to bring them here, but billions to protect them. Billions to make sure that they're safe. So Pete Hegseth could come out and tell individuals, because you black, you didn't earn your position here. Because you're a woman, you didn't earn your position. Because you're gay or transsexual, you didn't earn your position. And I'm willing to guarantee you that everybody Pete Hegseth is talking about will whoop Pete Hegseth behind. And then he's talking about there's airborne rangers, whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger. Yeah, there's chairborne rangers, you dumb. There is people who sit in chairs for 12 hours of the day because they are part of the intelligence branch of our government. Our military. They're part of the intelligence. They fly drones, you dumb. 12 hours a day, they sit in a chair, ready to work equipment that your ass couldn't even begin to understand. They plan military strikes that your ass couldn't even handle. Okay? So yeah, they're chairborne rangers, you knucklehead motherfucker, and we need them. Knucklehead. See? This dude got me, you know what I'm saying, just using foul language, because he's a nut. He's Pete the Skeet Hegseth. And that's the individual who our president selected to run the most powerful military combine on the planet, y'all. For real. Y'all look forward to my next video. My next video, I'm going to do one on ISIS. Okay? Because they off the chain. ISIS is off the chain. The stuff they're doing around the country, the stuff they're doing in Chicago, the fact that they're getting shot at bomb threats against them, attacked and assaulted. We're going to go through all that. But on that note, I'm going to let y'all go. Thank you for watching the video. Please comment, like, subscribe, share this video, and you guys have a great day. Peace, love, and prosperity to all of y'all.